Ford is cutting the price of its electric Mustang Mach-E while boosting production of its cars. They are following Tesla, who just lowered prices across their fleet as well.
Ford's unprecedented giveaway has everyone talking. They're giving away cars at unbeatable prices, and we can only wonder what's driving this frantic fire sale. As there are speculations that Ford is on the brink of bankruptcy, what's truly behind this generosity? Is this incredible opportunity a sign of desperation? Join us as we uncover the hidden truth behind Ford's sudden generosity, from ridiculous price reductions to dealers' incentives. Cost-price predicaments. Ford Motor Company is renowned for the production of some of the world's most exotic and also affordable auto vehicles. However, in recent years, even the most affordable of these automobiles are not getting sold, leading to thousands of these vehicles piling up. Those who could previously afford these automobiles are now affected by the inflation in the country, leaving people little to no choice but to focus on their needs rather than their wants and go for a vehicle that costs less. To solve these cost-related issues, Ford has decided to cut down their prices. For instance, this automobile company recently announced that it had reduced the prices for its Mustang Mach-E model electric SUV from $42,995 to $39,895. The cost of the higher-end Mach-E GT was also slashed by over $7,000, while the extended range premium version dropped by $8,100 to $48,895. The company believes that the price reduction would help them adjust to the market and balance sales growth with customer value. The lower-end version of the Mach-E electric SUV also has a price cut between $600 and $900, while the price of models that have batteries with longer range and premium features saw a reduction of $3,608 to $5,900. Surprisingly, Ford is not the only auto company slashing the price of their vehicles. Recently, Tesla, the largest automaker in the world, also reduced its prices due to slow sales and helped its car qualify for the EV tax credit, which requires the vehicle to cost $55,000 or less. So, it's safe to say that inflation is a major reason for reducing car demand. Recognizing the problem, the company decided to make electric vehicles more affordable by increasing their production while reducing the prices across the Mach-E range. Ford is currently making 78,000 Mach-Es per year and plans to raise production to 130,000 units. In an exciting move, Ford announced it will contact recent Mach-E owners, including those who bought their cars in 2023 and already received them, to offer a private deal to help them save money. This move is to increase the demand for these vehicles and also avoid the problems that Tesla has encountered. When Tesla lowered its prices, many recent buyers were unhappy because they had paid more, and some even protested. Ford wants to avoid this problem by giving recent buyers something, although the details are not precise yet. One thing is certain: the company will lose money on some Mach-Es because of the price cuts. However, this is better than not selling any of its vehicles. Profits on the Mach-E have been inconsistent due to changing material costs. In 2022, Ford lost money on each Mach-E sold, but later regained profits as inflation slowed. So, the company is looking at the long-term profit, which makes them less bothered about the present loss they are experiencing. Unfortunately, things didn't go as expected, and despite these price reductions, the company is selling fewer of these vehicles than it initially projected. This has sparked curiosity across the world, and people are beginning to wonder. Suppose the problem of the unaffordable cost price has been solved. Why are people not jumping at these offers and bagging themselves an exquisite vehicle at a pocket-friendly price? Quality control issues. When purchasing vehicles, people tend to go for a product that prioritizes quality and safety over anything else. No one wants to be worried about leaking fuel or the possibility of one's vehicle suddenly breaking down for no obvious reason. Unfortunately, Ford has put little to no effort into assuring their customers of the safety that comes with using these vehicles. This company needs to be more transparent as to why their cars are not being sold. Ford recently shared that these trucks are going through quality checks, but there is more to it than they are letting on. This explanation raised one important question. Why aren't these checks done at the factory before selling the trucks? This means that instead of ensuring the quality of vehicles during the production process, the company creates subpar cars and prefers to fix the problems later. While speeding up production helps meet the demand, customers are worried about the quality of the vehicle that they depend on for their day-to-day activities, which could hurt Ford's reputation and trust. Presently, this company is in a tough spot. While they are trying new ways to boost sales by making their vehicles more affordable and reducing prices, there might need to be a change in the long run. Despite being renowned for making tough and high-quality trucks, there are concerns about how well these vehicles are tested before being sold to consumers. A recent incident with the popular Ford Bronco laid more emphasis on the safety problems that these vehicles have. It was recently noticed that the fuel injectors in the Bronco have been leaking gasoline, which sometimes comes into contact with the hot engine and leads to a fire. Due to this issue, Ford had to recall 43,000 Broncos, showing how serious the issue was. These problems have raised serious concerns about Ford's decisions, especially regarding their quality control. Fixing the technical issues is one thing, but Ford also needs to regain people's trust. The Bronco situation highlights what's at stake: keeping customers safe and maintaining the company's reputation. How Ford handles these issues will affect whether people continue to buy their cars. The real test is whether Ford can solve these problems quickly and clearly, ensuring safety and quality are not compromised. Ford has spent over $4 billion fixing warranty issues between 2020 and 2021, with 46 recalls affecting millions of cars. These ongoing problems could make customers worried and might hurt future sales. The way Ford communicates and handles these recalls is just as important as fixing the cars. People need to feel confident that Ford is taking these issues seriously and working hard to solve them. If Ford fails to manage this well, it could lose the trust of many loyal customers. This would be a major setback, because trust and reliability are key reasons why people choose Ford. However, Ford's attitude toward fixing the issue with the leaking fuel injectors has further worsened the case. Instead of permanently fixing the faulty fuel injectors, they went with a temporary solution that didn't totally solve the problem. They are installing a tube to redirect the leaking fuel away from the hot engine parts and onto the ground. While this would solve the problem with the fire, it did not stop the fuel from leaking. With this solution, cars might suddenly lose power, leaving the passengers stranded. This isn't the kind of reliability people expect from their cars, especially vehicles they spend a lot of money on. By simply rerouting the leaking fuel and shutting off the high-pressure fuel pump, Ford is avoiding the real problem rather than solving it. This is especially concerning, given Ford's history of quality issues. The company was recently accused of cheating on emissions tests, which is bad and could cost a lot. According to Motor Trend, a lawsuit claims that Ford set up over 500,000 heavy-duty trucks like F-250s and F-350s, made between 2011 and 2017, to cheat the tests. The truck's emissions are said to be 50 times above the legal limit, which is a huge amount. To solve these pressing issues with the quality of the vehicles they produce, the CEO of Ford has revealed something quite shocking. He admitted that fixing the company's quality issues would take years. However, improving quality would now be their biggest focus. A recent report has put more attention on Ford's quality and has even raised questions about its reliability. What did Consumer Reports reveal about Ford's reliability? Reduction in reliability. Some of Ford's most popular models, like the F-150 and Explorer, were rated below average for reliability by Consumer Reports. This score ranges from 1 to 100, and the F-150 hybrid received a dismal score of just 4. In contrast, the Toyota Corolla hybrid took the top spot with a fantastic score of 93. This subpar reliability is quite worrisome and further lays emphasis on a troubling trend. Ford's full-sized pickup trucks are currently the least reliable category, averaging a score of only 30. To reach this conclusion, Consumer Reports surveyed a large group of 300,000 car owners to gather this information, and the ratings for 2023 are based on data from the past 3 years. For 40 years, F-Series pickups have dominated as America's best-selling vehicles, with annual sales often exceeding 700,000. This line makes up over 35% of Ford's total sales, making the F-150 hybrid crucial for the company's success. Reliability has been a significant challenge for Ford. Some car experts even believe that Ford's F-150 truck had its worst years between 2004 and 2006. Specifically, the 2004 and 2005 models got a lot of negative attention from both consumers and experts due to major problems. For instance, the gas tank straps in these trucks were faulty, which could cause the gas tanks to break and drag along the road while driving, creating a dangerous situation. The 2005 F-150 had an additional serious issue with its airbags, where they could deploy without warning. This airbag problem was so concerning that Ford had to recall a large number of trucks to fix it. These 2 years were filled with issues that upset many F-150 drivers and made those models less reliable. Since these trucks are nearly 20 years old now, many of the problems are well known, and drivers looking to save money might want to avoid them. Also, certain Ford truck models were well known for having big problems with windows and spark plugs. The spark plug issue came from a bad design in the aluminum cylinder heads, which caused spark plugs to break and create engine problems, especially during repairs. This was a common issue in the 6-liter V8, 5.4-liter V8, and 6.8-liter V10 engines, which were more likely to get damaged compared to earlier versions. Both model years also had a frequent window problem where the controls would stop working or the windows wouldn't roll down. By the time the 2006 models came out, there were some improvements, but many of these trucks lasted only over 100 miles. Unlike the tough trucks from the 1990s, which could still be seen on the road, most of the 2006 models only made it for about 7 years before breaking down. After a few years of fewer issues, the spark plug problem came back with the 2010 models, which also had troubles with their sensors. One of the new features at the time, the My Ford touchscreen, had a lot of bugs. Drivers reported that the screen would freeze up suddenly, and the backup camera often failed to work when they needed it. This model was one of the first to allow smartphones to connect, but it struggled to recognize them, making it hard for drivers to make calls or use navigation. The 2010 F-150 is another year to avoid because of ongoing problems from earlier models. It was also one of the first to have transmission failures, sometimes as early as 35,000 miles. These models, with their mix of spark plug problems, window issues, and failing tech, might seem appealing because of their lower price, but the long-term costs could make them a bad deal for buyers. The 2015 to 2017 models sold exceptionally well, but they sometimes needed to meet expectations. During this period, the primary issues reported included faulty door mechanisms, transmission problems, and brake failures. Engine and gear shift failures were more frequent when drivers were carrying loads around 5,000 pounds, which is concerning since most F-150 can tow over 10,000 pounds. Even though the 2015 to 2017 models were popular, many issues from these years should make you reconsider purchasing one. Brake failures were reported multiple times, with drivers stating that their master cylinders needed replacement after the brakes stopped working unexpectedly. The dashboard would show a low brake fluid warning, leading to brake failure within minutes. Although there were fewer complaints, similar issues were noted in the 2016 and 2017 models, with reports of engine stalls under 30,000 miles. Fortunately, many other model years of the F-150 don't have the same level of issues. In fact, some later models have better reliability, making them a safer and more cost-effective option for people in the market for a used F-150. Even though the F-150 had a few rough years, Ford is clearly trying to move forward with new technology, like the F-150 Lightning, to stay competitive in the growing electric vehicle market. However, the problems from the past remind us that while Ford is working hard to improve, there are still challenges to overcome. The transition to electric trucks will be an important test for the company as it tries to prove that it can produce both reliable and innovative vehicles for the future. While dealing with the issues of their reliability and quality, Ford has devised a new way to sell more cars while working on improving their products. How effective have these marketing strategies been? Questionable marketing skills. After Ford experienced a 10% decline in F-Series sales, which dropped from 160,000 units in the first quarter of 2023 to 152,943 trucks, this automobile company became desperate to remove outdated models from its showrooms. To tackle this issue, the company announced the reinstatement of a controversial sales incentive program, the stair-step incentives, that many dealers believed had been discontinued. This program was designed to offer dealers a bonus for each 2023 model year F-150 truck sold after they reached a specific sales target. Additionally, it was noted that if a dealership exceeded 120% of its sales goal, the payout per vehicle would increase. Reports from Auto News indicated that during February and March, Ford dealers received $750 for each truck sold when they met their goal, with a payout of $1,500 for those who exceeded it. However, it was revealed that the incentive for surpassing a sales target had now decreased to $1,000, although the program had expanded to include the 2023 and 2024 Explorers. Regardless of these changes, many dealers expressed their dissatisfaction with Ford's decision to bring back this incentive strategy, explaining how misleading it is and how some car dealers go through extreme means to get their vehicles sold, regardless of their clients' satisfaction. Rhett Ricart, CEO of Ricart Automotive Group in Ohio, also voiced his concerns about the potential confusion this program could create among dealers and customers. He suggested that the fluctuating prices could lead to uncertainty, arguing that transparency would be better served by clearly displaying the incentives. The National Automobile Dealers Association had consistently opposed stair-step incentives, hoping that the pandemic might lead to their elimination. It was noted that vehicle shortages in recent years had rendered traditional sales tactics unnecessary. However, as production levels began to normalize, dealers saw the return of incentives for both buyers and themselves. Not all dealers were against the program, though. Nick Anderson, the general manager of Chuck Anderson Ford in Missouri, acknowledged that customers could feel frustrated if they were unaware of a dealer's tactics. Nonetheless, he believed that, when implemented effectively, stair-step incentives could prove beneficial. He appreciated the flexibility these incentives provided in discretionary spending, mentioning that his sales in March depended on overpaying for trades, which he effectively returned to customers to secure their business. While Ford might be experiencing a downtime in terms of sales, this company has heavily invested into the production of electronic vehicles. What's the motive behind this decision? Ford's EVs high-stake bet. Recently, Ford placed a rather huge bet on the electric vehicle market, investing billions into its production in order to improve their financial position. In the third quarter of 2023, Ford reportedly lost around $36,000 on each EV sold. However, this loss is part of a larger strategy to increase EV sales, even at a loss, to establish a strong presence in the growing EV market. This risky choice shows that Ford is counting on future profits. Now, this is where the negative impact of the stair-step incentives can be noticed. As dealerships aggressively push for sales to gain immediate rewards, these tactics might affect the future of the auto industry, consumer trust, and Ford's market position. The challenge for Ford and its dealerships is to balance strong sales efforts with good customer service and ethical practices. Last year, Ford faced significant financial losses of $4.7 billion as it heavily invested in EV development. This year looks even worse, with predictions of a huge $55 billion drop. This serves as a clear warning that spending a lot of money on a project doesn't always bring quick success. Despite these challenges, Ford is committed to expanding its EV lineup. Ford's recovery from its financial challenges in the electric vehicle market will likely involve several strategic steps. One key focus will be on cost management, where Ford can streamline manufacturing processes, negotiate better deals with suppliers, and optimize the supply chain to reduce expenses. Improving profit margins is also crucial, which may include introducing higher-priced models with enhanced features, developing cost-effective production methods, and advancing battery technology for longer range and efficiency. Investment in technology will be essential for innovation, leading to better vehicle performance and reduced costs. Strengthening customer relationships through exceptional service, transparent sales practices, and strong after-sales support can help build trust and ensure long-term success. Aggressive marketing strategies will raise awareness of Ford's EV offerings, highlighting their benefits and targeting a wider audience. Expanding the EV lineup to include more models, especially affordable options, will attract different market segments. Collaborations and partnerships with tech companies or other automakers can enhance Ford's capabilities in EV technology and software development, providing access to new markets or resources. Monitoring market trends and staying informed about consumer preferences will help Ford adapt its strategies, giving them a competitive advantage. If necessary, Ford may consider financial restructuring to support its transition to EVs without overwhelming its resources. Additionally, taking advantage of government incentives for electric vehicles can offset some costs and improve sales, along with engaging with policymakers to advocate for supportive legislation. By focusing on these areas, Ford can work towards a successful recovery and establish a strong position in the growing EV market. To build back its reputation and focus on its plan with the EVs, Ford is making a lot of changes in its company, and some of these changes would affect the public greatly. What are some of these changes? Ford laying off workers. In August, Ford revealed that it will cut around 3,000 jobs as part of its changes. Electric cars need less manual work and different skills than regular cars. Car companies like General Motors and Toyota are moving away from gas-powered vehicles. While electric cars help lower pollution and slow climate change, many auto workers may lose their jobs because of new technology. Workers who build gas engines and other parts not used in electric cars will be most affected, as electric motors and batteries are simpler to make. Ford and Volkswagen revealed that the production process of electric cars takes 30% less labor than making regular cars. It's not clear yet how this big change will affect car jobs, but experts say jobs will be lost, and some car makers have already cut workers. Brett Smith from the Center for Automotive Research revealed that fewer people will likely be needed to build these cars and parts, which will be tough for some car communities. In a study from September, the Economic Policy Institute showed that the U.S. might lose 75,000 auto jobs by 2030 if electric cars reach 50% of sales. In Europe, suppliers think fast electrification could cut 275,000 jobs by 2040, even with new jobs making electric car parts. While making batteries and motors will help replace some traditional auto jobs, there will still be big changes and challenges. Boston Consulting Group says the switch to electric cars in Europe could cut 630,000 jobs at automakers and parts suppliers for gas engines by 2030. However, the growing need for batteries and charging stations will create 580,000 new jobs. While the main car industry will lose many jobs, new industries supporting electric cars will grow a lot. The Economic Policy Institute estimates that policies to boost electric car production in the U.S. could add 150,000 new auto jobs overall. There's no guarantee that workers who lose their jobs will get the new ones. According to Smith, new jobs are often created in new places for new people. Automakers are planning many battery factories in the U.S., but most will be far from current car factories. Smith also mentioned that making battery packs can be automated. Office jobs won't be safe either. People who design parts for gas cars will need to learn new skills for electric vehicles or risk losing their jobs, said business professor Tammy Madsen. These job cuts have already started. In August, Ford announced it would lay off around 3,000 salaries and contract workers as part of a bigger restructuring plan. Besides laying off a lot of workers and increasing the rate of unemployment, the inclusion of a new software in the design of these vehicles have further endangered a particular workforce. How? Ford's high maintenance fee. Ford and other major automakers like Chrysler, Subaru, and Mercedes-Benz are now adding exclusive software to their newest vehicles. This has sparked debates not only about the technology itself, but also about who can fix these cars. The software is set up so that most maintenance or repair jobs have to be done at authorized dealerships. This puts independent mechanics at a disadvantage, as they can't access the required software unless they pay steep fees. As a result, car owners are pushed towards the more expensive dealership options for their repair needs. This move isn't just about managing car technology, it's also reshaping how repairs are handled in the future. By connecting repairs to their own service centers, companies make sure they keep control of the repair market. This might be a clever business move, but it limits customer choice. The effect of this shift is seen not just in the rising cost of owning a car, but also in the growing divide between dealership service centers and independent garages, which now find it harder to stay competitive. Automakers are now actively steering customers toward their own repair networks. This limits people's options for getting their cars fixed and means they'll likely spend more on repairs. Smaller, independent mechanics, known for being cheaper and more customer-focused, are facing significant obstacles. They need help accessing the tools and diagnostic systems needed for modern car repairs. With the manufacturer's software and updates, independent mechanics may be able to offer a full range of services. This forces them to either adjust to the new reality or risk shutting down their business. Manufacturers have taken firm control over car repair systems. Only they can make changes to or update the software, which makes it hard for open-source repair solutions to work. When companies like Ford face financial trouble, they often tighten control over repairs as a way to cut costs. Beyond the economic angle, automakers are also holding on to power by setting the rules for repairs and deciding the prices. Modern cars are packed with high-tech components that require specialized skills to fix, and automakers use this to justify their high prices, claiming that advanced tech needs expert handling. As a result, both independent repair shops and customers are left with fewer options and rising repair costs. Independent mechanics are losing the ability to provide the personal touch that customers appreciate. The more control automakers take over repairs, the harder it becomes for small shops to survive. Car owners are also being forced to rely on dealerships, which tend to charge more for repairs. This can be frustrating for people who prefer their local mechanics' convenience and service. As the gap widens between dealership services and independent repair shops, overall repair costs are likely to increase. The shift to manufacturer-controlled service networks also affects the quality of the service provided. Independent mechanics take pride in their relationships with customers and the personalized care they offer. But if they're pushed out of business, car owners could end up with less personal and potentially lower quality service from dealerships. The repair industry is changing, and not necessarily for the better. As automakers increase their control, both consumers and independent mechanics are finding it more difficult and expensive to navigate the repair process. The future might involve fewer choices for car repairs, higher costs, and less personalized service. The high-tech software and parts in these vehicles justify their higher prices, but they also highlight deeper issues in the industry, affecting companies like Ford and Tesla. But the costs are just a fraction of the issues relating to maintenance. A customer with a 2017 Ford Explorer had a water pump replaced under warranty. Later, a different dealership diagnosed a costly rear main seal leak, though the issue seemed uncommon. Frustrated, the customer sought an independent mechanic's opinion. The mechanic found that the water pump likely wasn't replaced, and that the real problem was a valve cover leak, not the rear main seal. This case highlights why many customers distrust dealerships and prefer independent mechanics for more honest and reliable service. Amidst these changes, there's growing support for the right to repair movement. This movement seeks to give car owners and independent mechanics the ability to repair their vehicles by demanding access to the necessary tools and information, which are often kept secret by manufacturers. In Massachusetts, a law has already been passed to allow mechanics to access car data for repairs with the owner's permission. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.